Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to How Search, Social, and Mobile Have Changed How Buyers Buy and What Your Business Must Do About It. If that sounds like the presentation that you were intending to see, then you're in the right place. And thank you very much for joining me. We'll get started here in just a handful of minutes. We still got a number of people joining in, so I want to give everybody a chance to get settled in. Now's a great time if you need to finish up any last minute emails, phone calls, run to the restroom, things like that. Perfect time to do it, and we'll get started here in just another few minutes. Thank you. Hi again. Just want to say welcome to all of the people who are signing in here since my last announcement. You are at How Search, Social, and Mobile Have Changed How Buyers Buy and What Your Business Must Do About It. So if that's the presentation you were expecting, you're in the right place. And we're going to get started here in just one more minute. Thank you. Okay, everyone, let's get going. Thank you again for joining me. A couple of logistics here before we really get rolling in the content. One, just to let you know, I'm not going to stop during the presentation to answer questions just because I've got a lot of content to cover and I want to make sure I get through it all in our allowed time here today. But if you have any questions, there is a question box that you will see here below the presentation that you can type any questions that you have, and that will make it to me and my team, and I'll answer as many of those as I can at the end here. If for some reason I don't get to your question, we will respond to you personally in the next 24 to 48 hours. Okay? The other thing is on the lower right-hand corner of this presentation, if you hover your mouse over the actual presentation, on that lower right-hand corner, you'll see a little box appear, and you can click on that to expand the presentation into full screen mode if you'd like to, and you can just hit escape to exit full screen mode at any time. All right, well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time and attention for joining me here today. We've got a lot of great content, so I'm going to get going here and, like I said, make sure that we make the most of our time together here and get you back to work. So the topic of today's presentation is how search, social, and mobile have changed how buyers buy and what your business must do about it. Now, you may be wondering, who am I and what do I do? Why am I, speaking on this topic? Well, my background is in marketing and in technology and in helping small businesses in particular leverage both direct marketing principles and fundamentals as well as technology to get maximum growth results for their companies and their businesses, and help them add income to their bottom line. And again, I particularly focus on smaller companies, and I found that marriage of direct response marketing and the leverage of effectively using technology is a very, very powerful combination for those businesses to get the most bang for their buck. So to me, it's really all about how do I take my clients to a new level of growth by applying those marketing fundamentals and that leverage from technology. All right, today's presentation, I want you to get three main things. One, how search, social, and mobile are impacting the buying habits and expectations of your customers. Second is the impact that this is having on your business, whether you realize it or not. And then three, what you need to do at your business to make sure that you're taking advantage of these changes and not being left behind in the marketplace, because the competitive landscape has changed dramatically in the last 10 years. And what I'm seeing in the hundreds of clients that I'm working with out there in the marketplace is that there are businesses that really seem to get it and are changing with the marketplace, and then there are businesses that are remaining kind of stuck in their old ways, stuck with the status quo. And in the last couple of years in particular, I'm really starting to see the impact of that difference in those businesses on their revenue and on their income. The businesses that are adapting and are changing with the marketplace are really starting to pull ahead of those that are being a little bit more stubborn and stuck in their ways. So in this presentation, my hope is to, as I said, make you aware of these changes, how it's impacting those buyer habits, and how it's impacting your business and what you need to do about it. So these changes, as we said, have changed the way that customers find and shop for your products or services, no matter what kind of business you're in. And I think back to the early days of e-commerce and buying online, say 10 years ago or so, it was pretty obvious to see the way that somebody like Amazon was going to change the way that people shopped for certain types of products, right? The things that you would normally buy maybe at Walmart, now you can buy on Amazon, or that you'd buy at the mall, maybe you can buy on Amazon. But this has also impacted just about every type of industry out there. I mean, on the upper left here, you see a logo for Angie's List, which, if you're not familiar, Angie's List is a company that went through massive, fast growth, went public at over $1 billion market cap, and what they do is they help people find services for their home more effectively, right? So repairmen, plumbers, things like that. On the lower left, you have a company called ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a company that is making it much more, much easier, as well as just more visible in how you go about, finding medical services, right? Finding a highly reviewed or highly rated doctor for a particular condition or a particular type of doctor that you're looking for. And then over here on the bottom right, you see Yelp, which I imagine just about all of you are probably familiar with Yelp. Yelp has really had an impact on particularly retail types of businesses, such as restaurants and bars and even dry cleaners and things like that, salons. Certainly, those types of businesses. Yelp has had a massive impact, particularly in more urban areas, but really they've grown to be a pretty darn large company, and the feedback and the information that's found on Yelp can really change the direction of a retail business overnight, either positively or negatively, because of the influence that Yelp has with such a large community now. So every type of industry is being impacted, and the buying behaviors of customers are all being impacted across just about every industry that you can imagine. So what's driving this dramatic change? Well, it's three main factors, three main drivers of this change: search, social, and mobile. Okay, all terms that I'm sure you're familiar with to one degree or another, that are having an amazing impact on how people find information about products and services and then make a decision to buy those products or services. So search, we're all familiar with, right? And it's amazing to think how much of a part of our lives the search engines have become when, just 15 years ago they didn't exist. But search is local, it's easy, and it's everywhere. Okay, and I say it's local because a huge percentage of the searches that are happening now online are local in nature. It's people looking for products, services, and businesses within 5 or 10 miles of where they're currently at, right? And that has a lot to do with the power of the mobile phones and these, mobile devices that have become really, full-fledged computers in our hands, right? So search is everywhere. I mean, it used to be just in the search engines. Now it's on your phone. It's on your tablet. It's inside of Facebook. It's all over the place. So it really has become a major driver in how we find information and how we decide, to purchase one product or service over another. In fact, 70% of consumers search reviews or ratings about products and services before purchasing. Okay, 70% of consumers. 92% of consumers have more confidence in information found online than they do in anything from a sales clerk or other source. So people actually trust the information that they find, oftentimes from complete strangers online, more than they do from your salespeople. Largely, I think, because they don't feel like they're being sold to, right? This is somebody who bought your products or services and they think has an honest review of those products or services. And as I mentioned before, local search volume is growing exponentially, right? We're talking by 50% or more every year. And now Google says that 43% of all searches are local in nature. And look at these numbers from 2008 to 2011. We've gone from 1 billion local searches a month to 3.45 billion local searches a month. So I stress this because no matter what business you're in, if you sell to local customers, they are using the search engines to learn about your business and make a decision about your business. All right, so let's turn to social now. Social media has grown by 712% since 2005. Okay, it's been amazing how fast the growth, right? I mean, again, just a handful of years ago, Facebook, Twitter, things like this, Pinterest didn't even exist, and now the numbers on how many people are a part of the social media communities and how much time they spend on those sites is just amazing. And it's not just kids. There was this idea early on in social media. Well, it was all just the young kids kind of getting on there and flirting and playing games and stuff like that, right? 66% of adult internet users use social media today, and that number is actually growing quite quickly. When you look at the demographic information on Facebook, the fastest growing groups on Facebook are actually older people. Okay, so it's not just kids, it's every type of demographic, including your customers, no matter who your customers are. Okay, now the other amazing thing that's happened with social is that consumers, your customers, are now also publishers. Okay, you cannot have 100% control of your message anymore. Your message about your brand and your products and your services. It's now in the hands of the public. Consumers are able to publish their opinions on sites like Yelp, Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. All of these sites are growing massively, and people are using these sites to share their feelings about your products and services. The last of the three major factors here is mobile. And mobile is proving to be the biggest game changer of them all. It really is fascinating. 87% of Americans have mobile phones, and 73% say it's their number one most used technology device. almost 66% of smartphone users admit to sleeping with their phones. So, these little devices are very, very addictive. They're in the hands of just about everybody. And most importantly, now, as I mentioned before, they are effectively full computers in your hands. So people are not using these things just to make phone calls or even just to send text messages. They're using them to search about your business in the search engines. They're using them to search in the social media sites that they're a part of. They're really using them as their initial point of entry in learning about different products, services, and businesses and who they're going to buy from. So what does this all mean? It means that every business must do 4 things. 1, you must compete for search engine traffic, because search is now the first step consumers take in the buying process. And I think if you just think about your own buying habits, you'll realize that this is true. When you think about some sort of product or service, first thing we do now is we head to our computer or our phone and we type in some sort of search query into Google or another search engine to learn more about what it is that we're considering. So if you are not competing in search, honestly, you're not competing. Somebody else is just absolutely taking market share from you every single day. Number 2 is to mobilize your marketing. Okay, consumers are now using their phones to find local businesses, and 61% of them say they'll leave a website if it's not optimized for mobile. Okay, the point is people have their phones with them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're not carrying around their computers 24 hours, 7 days a week, right? So if you are not making a plan to market to people mobile while they're mobile, then you're going to start missing out on an increasing amount of market share. Number 3 is to engage in the social conversation happening on the web. Because 72% of U.S. consumers research companies through social channels before making purchases. If you are not a part of that conversation that's happening about your products and services, then you have essentially ceded control of your brand to what the rest of the world decides to publish about you. And number 4, you must invest in proactive processes for monitoring, managing, and improving your online reputation. Again, it's never been easier for somebody to look up information about your business and see what other people, other consumers, think about your products and services and the job that you do, how you take care of your customers, whether or not you're worth visiting again. That information is now in the palm of our hands. So if you are not proactively monitoring, managing, and improving that online reputation, again, you're giving up control of that to somebody else. So now more than ever, you need to have a marketing plan that works and that is relevant. And by relevant, I mean that it's got to take these major factors into account, or again, you're being left behind to one degree or another, no matter what industry you're in. All right, so let's talk about these 4 things that each business must do individually, starting with 1, compete for search engine traffic. 93% of online experiences begin with a search. As I mentioned before, first thing I do when I think about a product or service that I'm interested in is I hop online, do some searches, find out what my alternatives are, and find out what other people think about those alternatives. 77% of search users choose organic over paid listings. And what does that mean? That means that in the search engines there are obviously paid advertisement for products, and then there are just the results that the search engine organically chooses to show to you. People understand the difference between those more and more. Just 5 years ago, a huge percentage of the population was still confused about which ones were paid ads versus organic results. But today people are more clear about that, and 77% of people choose those organic over paid listings, which means you can't just buy their attention with ads. You need to compete in the search engine rankings. And those organic rankings, the click-through generates 25% higher conversion rates than pay-per-click. So these are actually the best conversions as well, the best clicks. You're getting more money from every click that you get in the organic rankings. Okay, so how do we compete in those organic rankings? Well, that's what search engine optimization is. Okay, search engine optimization is the act of improving the visibility of a website or a web page in search engines via the natural or organic search results. Okay, I'm sure that just about all of you at one point or another have heard about SEO. It's actually been a huge topic in recent years and a somewhat controversial topic in recent years as well, because there's been a lot of people out there that are selling SEO services that they don't really have a lot of credibility and they don't do a lot for their clients. So maybe some of you have unfortunately been burned in your attempt at actually trying to compete in the search engine results. I run into a lot of companies that's the case. But search engine optimization, SEO, still has many benefits that your business really, really needs to consider. So on the plus side here, you get a boost of website traffic. You get increased visibility among the target audience that you're going after because they have searched specifically for a term that you're showing up for. You have more credibility with the people who are searching. You have more credibility than the paid advertisers do. So you can build better relationships and have more influence with those people. I just showed you a moment ago the increased conversion numbers and the result of, as a result of that, also the increased sales and new customers. So those are the benefits of SEO. Now, you may have also heard, again, more on the controversial side and the negative side, you may have heard a lot of people tell you that SEO is a waste of time, that it's spam, that some people will say it's simple and you don't really need to do anything. You should just rank, naturally. And some people will say it's like voodoo, it's like witchcraft. You can never really truly understand it. Unfortunately, there's some truth in all of this. SEO being a waste of time. Well, you can invest a good amount of time, energy, and money in SEO before you see any real momentum and change happen in your rankings. And a lot of it is outside of anybody's control other than the search engines, right? The search engines ultimately decide which sites they're going to rank, and they don't tell you exactly why. SEO is spam. There's been a lot of people, as I said earlier, out there that sell SEO that really do not do not provide a good service to their clients. So a lot of people have been burned. And SEO is simple. SEO is voodoo. There's a bit of truth in both of those. The fundamentals of SEO are actually pretty darn simple and straightforward, but there is some magic to it, and there are professionals that spend their days. That's all they do is understand the search engines and what ranks. So you may have heard some negatives, you may understand the positives, but here's reality. Okay, this is a chart that shows you, based on the ranking that you have in the first page of Google, which is the numbers on the left-hand side there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This shows you the percentage of traffic that you get for a given term in the search engines based on your ranking. So you can see the red circle on the upper left there, where it says 42.13%, 11.9, and 8.5. What that's telling you is that the number one ranked site gets 42% of all of the clicks that happen for a given search term. 42%. Now look at the drop off from number one to number two. 11.9% and 18.5%. 8.5%. So there's a massive drop off from being number one versus number two. Okay, and again, these are all organic, free clicks that a business is getting to their site. Now, go all the way down to numbers 8, 9, and 10, and look at how small the traffic is compared. 3.01%, 2.85%, and 2.99% for 8, 9, and 10, compared to the 42% that the number one spot is experiencing. And you can see on the right-hand side there, 14.8 and 14.1 times less traffic than that number one spot. So It really is amazing. And if you see then down on the very bottom here, it says first page totals 89.82%. What that's telling you is that 89.82% of all of the traffic for a given search term will go to the people on the first page of Google. And then you can see the second page is just at 10%. So you take 89.82 and 10.18 and you add them together, that's 100% of the traffic. Essentially, if you're not on page 1 or page 2, you don't get any traffic. And if you're not on page 1, you're losing out big time, right? And really, if you're not in the top few slots of page 1, you are you're falling behind, right? Those top few slots get the lion's share of the traffic, and those companies are pulling away from the rest of the pack. So the reality is that SEO is incredibly valuable, and it is worth investing in for the long term. You do have to have a long-term perspective. There are not any gimmicks or tricks that you should be trying. It should be fundamentals that you're applying, and you should be doing them consistently over time, or else, again, you are just ceding control of much of the traffic for a given search term to your competitors. So let me just share with you what I think are the fundamentals of SEO. Okay, this is SEO 101. Okay, yes, there is some voodoo to it. Yes, there is some magic to it. There are people who, can give you all of the details and ways to tune your site and tune your activity online to try and make sure you get the highest rank possible. But for most business owners like you, I think it's important that we focus on the fundamentals, because you don't have time to do everything, right? The fundamentals are, number one, create fresh, relevant content. Create content that your customers want to consume, that they want to experience, whether that's videos or written content or pictures, whatever it is. Create it frequently as well. That's what I mean by fresh. The search engines love to see that you're creating content on a regular basis. They see you as more of an authority if you do, and they're more likely to rank that content higher. Okay? So, number two then is get links from other high-value sites. From other sites that the search engines think highly of, get links from them pointing to your site. You do that, and your site will grow. Number three, have an active social media presence. Search and social have really started to blend in the last couple of years. Facebook now has some search engine capability. Google Plus is now Google's answer to Facebook in terms of social. So those two worlds are really mixing. And if you are not active in social media, you are not going to compete in the search engines for too much longer. Okay, so focus on those three fundamentals. Create fresh, relevant content, get links from other high-value sites, and have an active social media presence. Beyond that, you should hire somebody to help you with the other details that go into really being competitive for SEO. All right, let's talk about number two, mobilize your marketing. Okay, mobilize your marketing. Mobile searches have quadrupled in the last year, according to Google. Now, why is that? Well, again, more and more people have these powerful phones in our hands, and Google and other companies have been making a huge investment in recent years in making sure that they have great local information to return to searchers. So more and more people are starting to see that and starting to rely on that information in their everyday lives. Now, what's important to know is that after searching for a business via mobile, 61% of those queries result in a phone call and 59% result in a visit. So people are searching on their phones because they're looking for somebody to contact now or someplace to go now, right? And again, think about it. If you're out and about town, you're looking for the restaurant to go to or the place to go buy a particular product. You're hopping on your phone, you're looking at a few alternatives, picking one, and then likely making a phone call or going to visit that business. So, it's absolutely critical that you realize how much of today's traffic is happening over mobile phones. And what you need to do to make sure that you are ready for that is to optimize your website for mobile devices. What I mean by optimize your website is to make sure that when you search for it on a mobile phone, that when you pull it up, it is actually a nice, usable, workable site on the phone. Because if you are just relying on your main website to look, good enough and be effective enough to serve somebody who is searching on a mobile phone, I've got bad news for you. Your site probably is doing a terrible job. Okay, there's just different kind of expectations and even just kind of mechanics of how you're going to navigate a site on your phone. And it's different than when you're sitting at a large screen at your computer. So, unfortunately, I know that the far majority of you have not done anything to create a good website for mobile devices, because statistics show that around 90% of small businesses have not done so yet. So, that's a bad mistake, because 6 in 10 prospects will leave your site if it's not mobile friendly. It's a pain in the neck to try and navigate a site that's not mobile friendly. So let me show you what I mean here. This is the same business presented in two different ways. One, on the left, you can see that that's their standard website on as it appears on an iPhone. And you can see the text is very small, the pictures are small. Navigating on it, you'd have to do a lot of zooming to know what you're supposed to be clicking on. It's very, very frustrating. Versus on the right, they've completely redesigned that site to make big buttons, big text, limited choices. It's much, much easier to use. So if you have not done this at your business, you absolutely need to make this a priority, because massive amounts of traffic are now searching for your business on mobile devices. All right, another thing that you should consider to mobilize your marketing is to consider doing SMS marketing. Okay? SMS marketing is just sending a text to somebody's phone. This is an incredibly powerful form of marketing. 97% of all SMS marketing texts are opened by recipients, and 95% are read within minutes of receipt. Okay, so compare that to email marketing. For those of you who have done some email marketing, you will know that if you get a 10% open rate on an email campaign, that's considered pretty good now, versus 97% for SMS marketing. Okay, and they're read within minutes of receipt. Why? Because these are coming to people's phones that they have in their pockets, that they've set to vibrate, or chime some sort of bell when they get a new text message. So people are grabbing their phone to see who it is that sent them a message and opening it and reading it pretty much immediately. That makes for very, very powerful marketing, particularly for local businesses in a number of ways. So one of the most impactful ways is appointment reminders. Appointment reminders can reduce no-shows by up to 50%. So if you have the type of business where you're relying on people who have set appointments with you to come in and show up for that appointment on time and pay you money, well, you know that when somebody does not show up for their appointment and they don't take the time to let you know ahead of time, you've just lost the opportunity to make some money. Right? So appointment reminders have been proven to reduce no-shows by up to 50% in a variety of businesses. So huge, huge benefit for appointment-based businesses. Now the other thing is mobile coupons. Mobile coupons are super powerful. You can see a picture of just a simple mobile coupon here. Mobile coupons are 10 times more likely to be redeemed than traditional coupons. Now, why is that? Because I don't have to cut something out of my newspaper or the flyer I received and remember to bring it with me. I'm getting it on my phone. It's right there on my phone. It's immediate in nature. I can head straight to that business and show them my phone and get my discount. So they're up to 10 times more likely to be redeemed than traditional coupons. Every local business should be taking advantage of sending coupons via SMS marketing. Now, the last thing that you may want to consider, and this is more of an advanced strategy, but I thought I'd share it with you, is geo-targeting. So, these phones now have all this information about our specific location in them, right? That's how we're able to use the maps functionality and things like that on our phones. Well, that gives marketers the ability to say, you know what? I only want to market to them when they're close enough to my business that there's a real good likelihood that they're going to come in, right? So it may be that you only want to market to people within 5 miles of your business because the people all the way across town are much less likely to actually drive across town to come to your business. So you can market to them as soon as they enter a certain vicinity around your business. Now, the other thing that you can do, which is really slick, is you can also do the same thing when they enter the vicinity of a competitor's business. Okay, so maybe you see them heading to your competitor and you say, hey, you know what? As soon as they're within a mile of that competitor, I want to ding them with a message for my business. So really, really powerful stuff. Like I said, a little more cutting edge, but really, really powerful stuff. Okay, so that's mobilizing your marketing. All right, let's talk about number 3 now, engaging in the social conversation that's happening out there. 85% of consumers expect businesses to interact with them via social channels. I think that this is something that's really, really just taken off in the last 12 to 18 months or so. It was primarily that we just expected to find our friends online and social media. But Facebook and others have done a great job of creating this environment for business pages as well within those social media sites, and people expect you to be there. Starbucks is a perfect example, right? Starbucks has a huge following on Facebook, and people go onto their Facebook site to get and give gift cards, to find out where store locations are, things like that, find jobs even. So they've done a really, really nice job and are a great role model for just about any type of small business, local business to emulate. Now, what's really important that I don't know that everybody gets, again, going back to this whole idea of consumers or publishers, people are talking about your business whether you realize it or not. Some of them are saying great things, some of them are saying terrible things, but they are talking. Look at this. This is a gentleman who, when he leaves a restaurant, puts his phone up on his dashboard of his car and does a quick restaurant review video and posts it. And now you may think, well, what does that have to do with me and my business? How is that going to impact me? Well, look at how many views he has to this video. Down in the lower right-hand corner of that image, 35,000 views to this video. Okay? People are talking and people are listening. It's so easy to create a review about your business and share it with the world that if you are not engaging in that conversation and doing your best to participate in the conversation that's happening, then you are really, really missing out on an opportunity. So you've got to take control of your story. You've got to start blogging, friending, following, sharing, tweeting, uploading, tagging, pinning, right? Updating. I know it sounds like a lot, but when you get into it and you get into the rhythm of it, it really is not that difficult, but it is critical. Okay, you need to create and share content that will help or entertain your clients and prospects. All right? If you're not, again, there is a conversation happening about your business out there. You're just not aware of it and you're not participating in it. And that's a dangerous position to be in today's day and age. One of the most impactful things that you can do, I showed you that gentleman making the videos earlier. Videos absolutely rock. Every type of business can make some sort of good video about their business. You can make educational videos. You can do videos that are interviews with your customers, videos that are interviews with your employees. You can do tours of your facilities. There is no end to the type of good content that you can come up with out there. And video is 50 times more likely to rank high in the search engines than a text-based piece of content, okay? People love videos. Video consumption is going through the roof, and because of that, the search engines love videos. So create good video content and get it out there, and you will be rewarded in the search engines. All right, finally here on the social side of things, I really want to recommend that you consider advertising in the social networks, and particularly on Facebook. Facebook is an amazing advertising vehicle. Its reach, its targeting precision, and its affordability and control are off the charts. Okay? Everybody can create a beneficial, profitable campaign on Facebook. I don't care what industry you're in. I don't care what market of consumers you are going after. They are there on Facebook, and you will have the opportunity to present your ads to them and engage them by doing so. Okay, there are 155 million Facebook users in the U.S. and now over a billion actually throughout the world. I mean, it's just amazing when you think of how young that company is. I mean, they're now like the 6th largest country in the world if they were a country. Somewhere in that neighborhood. It's really amazing. So no matter who your target audience is, you can reach them on Facebook. Doctors, okay, young mothers, professionals of every type, senior citizens, they're all on Facebook in massive, massive numbers. Now, why consider advertising on Facebook versus just getting in there and participating? Well, there's some real interesting benefits. I mean, of course, you should be in there participating, but you can leverage that participation. You can leverage the success that you're having with people inside of Facebook by doing advertisements. This is an example of what's called a sponsored story advertisement. And you can see this gal here, Jessica Gronsky, second time today at Starbucks. Now, what Starbucks has done, it has placed an ad called a sponsored story where the fact that Jessica has been at Starbucks today is now sent out to the world in the form of an advertisement. So her friends and other people will see, oh, Jessica's been at Starbucks twice today. Now, why is that? Well, there's a lot of social proof that is behind that, right? You're seeing that your friends, people you trust, are going to Starbucks or buying a particular product or visiting with somebody, whatever it is. There's a lot of social proof there, and that social proof converts to sales. Okay? So by placing this type of ad, you can convert the user activity around your brand into ads and display those ads to friends of the user, and you can magnify the engagement you're getting with that community of people. It's really, really powerful stuff. And that's just one example of how to advertise in Facebook advertisements. Facebook has 7 or 10 or so different ad vehicles inside of there that are all really, really powerful. All right, let's move on to number 4 now. Invest in your reputation. This actually may be the most critical thing that we have to cover today. I don't know that people really understand this concept, but reputation is now the foundation of effective marketing. Okay, 50 years ago, a company could truly control the message about their brand because they would put commercials on TV, they would run print ads, they would run jingles on the radio, and that was all you ever heard about that company. You didn't have social media, you didn't have search engines to go find information of your own, right? You didn't have consumers publishing information about that brand. It was all in the hands of the brand owner. Well, now that has totally flip-flopped, and it's in the hands of what consumers think about you and your products or services. And I love this cartoon. It's a couple dancing here, and it says, "I've read your amazing reviews online. What a reputation." But that's what it's all about. It's about seeing what the community out there says about your products and services and doing your best to enhance that reputation. Now, reputation has always been critical, of course. It's just now it's much, much more visible what other people think about you. So, what do the stats say? 74% of U.S. consumers choose to do business based on online feedback. Okay, 90% trust recommendations from people they know. 70% trust recommendations from unknown users. I was shocked when I first saw how close those numbers are. I mean, of course it makes sense that we're going to trust from people we know, but there's not a huge drop-off in trust from people we don't know, right? So we take these reviews that we see online very seriously, and it's easier than ever for consumers to find that feedback from peers when deciding who to buy from, and that has a direct impact on their buying behavior. The proof here, as you can see, Google bought Zagat a while back, and why did they do that? Well, because Zagat had all of these reviews and all this information about what people thought about certain restaurants and hotels around the world, right? Zagat had done a great job creating these books where they had all of this information about, about various restaurants and hotels out there. Well, they bought them because they knew that they could incorporate that data into their search engines and create a much better experience for the people who are searching for restaurants and hotels and bars in specific cities, right? That local search. So what have they done? They've taken that data and they've put it right at the center of search. Look at this. This is a search that was done for plumbers in Denver, Colorado. Plumbers in Denver, Colorado. Now, take a look at the reviews. The second one there, Applewood Plumbing and Heating, has 52 reviews, and its reputation score is a 3 out of 30, which, if you don't know, is terrible. Okay, the higher your score, the better. So they have a reputation of 3 out of 30. What do you think that's costing them in business? I can assure you that if I'm looking for a plumber in Denver and I pull up and I find these results, there is no way I'm going to decide to call up Applewood Plumbing and Heating over some of these other options. Okay? So your reputation is now front and center, displayed numerically for the world to see. Okay? If you're not taking that seriously and you're not doing what you can to impact that and manage that, then you will pay the price in lost business. How much of a difference do these reviews make? Well, look at this. 2011 Harvard Business Review study says that a difference of 1 star in average rating led to a difference in revenues of 5 to 9% across a variety of businesses. That's huge. Most businesses don't even make 9% profit to the bottom line. Okay, so this can have a massive impact on your business. Your goal is to have a 5-star reputation online. Now, you can't control what people say about your company, but you can make sure that you're adding enough to the conversation to ensure that the ratio of positive to negative is in your favor. Okay, you can do what you can ethically to influence what's being said out there, right? And it really comes down to, I think, at the most basic level, a 3-step process. Monitor what people are saying about you. Manage, okay, do what you can to manage what's being said about you. And then number 3, promote when you get wins with customers and clients, okay? When you have happy customers and clients, do what you can to get the good word out about your brand. All right, let's go through each of these individually real quick. Monitor. What do I mean by monitor? Well, there's some really slick tools out there that will allow you to kind of spy on what's being said about you out there in the world. So one of my favorites is just a very simple tool from Google called Google Alerts. You can put any term into this tool. So you can put the name of your company, you can put the name of key people at your company, the names of your products or services, and anytime anybody publishes anything mentioning those words, Google will send you a notice. So if somebody puts a bad review and mentions your brand, or a positive review and mentions your brand, or writes an article about your company, you can have an alert saying, hey, this is what somebody is saying about you. So you can now decide, hey, do I need to go out and respond to it? Do I want to promote it, right? Just that awareness and that knowledge of what's being said is very, very powerful. Another one of my favorite tools is Social Mention, and this does effectively the same thing, but it tells you what's being said on the social networks specifically and how your brand is impacting the community on the social networks. TweetDeck is a great tool for kind of managing all of this in one place. So there's a variety of tools out there for you, all either free or very inexpensive, that you can use to monitor what's being said about your brand. Next is manage. Okay, manage your brand online. So there's a few really key things to this. One, you want to make sure and claim all of your business listings on the variety of sites that are out there that have a listing for your business. Now, many of you may not even know that you have these business listings all over the place on the web that were created by somebody else. Okay, they didn't have to be created by you. So just about every business out there now has business listings in a variety of sites. I mean, 20, 25, 30 different sites, and you may not even know it. And the danger of that is that there could be bad information on those listings, wrong information, right? You could have reviews that are being posted up there about your business that you don't even know about. So, specifically in sites like Google Local, Yelp, LinkedIn, YellowPages.com, things like that, you need to go and make sure that you have claimed ownership of your business information. Make sure that that information is accurate, all right? And if that people are up there talking about you, that you know about it and can respond to it. And that's, the step two, responding to complaints, right? There's oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes an opportunity to respond to a complaint to try and clarify things or to try and rescue a relationship with somebody who's, been disappointed in your products or services. And that can go a long way towards restoring your reputation online. And then finally, encourage positive reviews. Like I said, when you have those happy customers, you want to make sure and promote that as much as possible. You can see here on the far right-hand side, want a free beer? Rate Cape Ann on Pintley and enter Pintley, and enter and win craft beer for a year. So they're obviously giving people, a good reason to go and rate their business. So that's the manage side of things. Let's talk about promote now. Again, when somebody said something positive about your business, somebody's had a good experience, you want to get that word out. And there's a lot of ways you can do that. You can run your own press releases, you can do social media promotions, and you can also advertise the successes that you've had with your clients and customers, right? I mean, you see this all the time in the major newspapers like the Wall Street Journal and stuff like that. A company will take out a full page just to brag about their success that they had in the last year or that they won some new major customer account, something like that. Well, that's not limited to big businesses. Every business should be taking advantage of the opportunity to toot their own horn a little bit, and press releases, social media promotions, and advertisements on Facebook and in your local paper and things like that can be a very affordable way to promote the good word about your business. All right, so 3 things I said I was going to get to you in today's presentation, and I hope that you get from it. 1, how search, social, and mobile are impacting buying. 2, the impact on your business. And 3, what you need to do about it. And what do you need to do about it? 4 things. Compete for search engine traffic, mobilize your marketing, engage in the social conversation that's happening out there about your brand and your products and your services, and 4, invest in your online reputation. Okay, so I hope that I've made all my points clear. I hope that you walk out of here with an understanding of how these major factors are impacting your business and impacting your consumers, and what you can do about it at your business to take control of these major drivers of change. Okay, let's talk about the bigger picture for a second. The difference between the businesses that get it and don't is really starting to become very visible and more extreme. Okay, the gulf between them is getting larger and larger, and this is kind of like seeing the gap between the haves and have-nots in education, right? I mean, we can all very clearly see that the people who are able to afford and get a good education in their life and go to top universities tend to get the top jobs and have much higher incomes and much better health and all kinds of benefits over their life, versus the ones that don't get exposure to that great education, oftentimes tend to struggle and make much less money over the course of their lifetime. Well, I'm seeing that same divide happen in businesses. The ones that get it are absolutely starting to crush the ones that don't. I mention this because I think that there is a short-term window for businesses to really start investing in how they're doing business online, how they're responding to these search, social, and mobile drivers. I think that window is closing, and that if you are not making a plan for your business to accommodate those factors and adjust to those factors and thrive within those factors, then I think you really are at risk of being left behind in your business. If you're committed to creating maximum growth at your business and you feel like you could be handling some of this stuff better, I'd love to get to know you and your business better. Again, this is what I do. I help companies with this marriage of marketing and technology. It's my job to keep up on the latest information, the latest trends, and work with a variety of clients to make sure that they are thriving in this new environment. So if that's something that is of interest to you, I'd love to have a conversation with you. You can see down below this presentation how to contact me. And I would certainly look forward to a conversation to see if there's a possibility that I may be able to help you. Okay, no pressure conversation, but if it's something that there might be some mutual benefit, then I think that that's something that would be great to explore. All right, I want to thank you very much. We're at an hour now, so I'm going to go ahead and let you go and let you get back to your day. I really appreciate you being here with me. I hope that you took away some good, clear points and some good action items that you can take and use at your business. And again, if it makes sense to reach out and strike up a conversation with me to discuss any of these topics further and how we might be able to develop some strategies for your business in particular, then I'd love the opportunity to do so. Thank you so much again. Take care and